Irvine, California is the city of red lights that are not synchronized. Alright, today we're on the Versys 300. We have the TUSK Traverse bags on today with the GNOBLIN attachment point in the back. Got my lunchbox up there. Ignore that. Not really part of the luggage. Recently rode the Himalayan on this same trip, so this will be a good back-to-back comparison here. One thing I did notice is I forgot how spunky that thing is compared to the Himalayan. This guy wants to get up and go. Not bad, not bad. Anyway, this Versys 300, this used to belong to my wife. Actually, it still does, but she's lost interest in riding on the street, so, you know, I put suspension on it for my weight. Yeah, so it's what, a 2022, I think, Versys 300X with ABS. This one we have Shinko 804, 805 tires. Brakes are stock. Front suspension, I have Racetech springs for my weight and riding style. I think 10 weight oil is what Racetech recommended. Complete LED retrofit on everything. Headlight, turn signals, brake light. A beak from AliExpress. And I just recently put these MoskoMoto crash guards on. I took the AliExpress flexible, bendy, light bar, whatever you want to call them. Basically not really crash bars. They're kind of useless. Very flexible, very soft metal. And replaced them with these MoskoMoto, and these things seem super stout. I feel much better about these than the other ones. I think you could actually tip the bike over on these and the plastics might survive. Ricochet skid plate. Exhaust has got a stock header on it because I have a full Dekelvik system, but it won't fit with the Ricochet skid plate. But I do have the Dekelvik, or however you want to pronounce that, slip-on going there. We've got actual bark busters with storm guards. This is a cut down GV knockoff from Amazon. We've got adjustable levers. I originally put these on for my wife's hands. She has really small hands. She's only 4'11". So with a short person like that, everything else is small. Feet, hands. Yeah, I said we have the TUSK Traverse bags that we just picked up. Rear suspension YSS shock. I believe it's fully adjustable, but maybe it only has compression dampening. I don't remember. I have so many bikes, it's hard to keep them straight. We got IMS Super Sport pegs. We have a TUSK folding shift lever that I have adjusted for motocross boots, so a little tough in the my street boots as far as shifting up. Oh, we have adjustable lowering links because, like I said, it used to be set up for my wife. I just have them set in the normal length right now, so it's sitting in the stock ride height. What else we got going on here? That might be about it. I think we have some rock risers on here, maybe, and we got a KenMoto bag. We've got a brace going across the, yeah, there are some risers on there. We have a brace going across the handlebars, and have a KenMoto bag attached to that. It's a great bag for the money. I wouldn't even say for the money. This is probably, I have the giant loop and I have one other. This one's superior and it's a third the cost, so there should be a link in the description. I really like this if you have a crossbar. This was the switch for the fog lights or driving lights that I took off. I haven't remounted them since mounting these SWOTech crash guards. This is my tablet that I use for navigation. Has Google Maps offline, Gaia, drive mode dashboard, a couple other apps on there. I have it hotspotted to my phone. Has a built-in GPS because it's ruggedized, so the GPS works whether you have a data connection or not. Okay, USB connection here with voltage readout. This morning I have a check engine light. I don't know why. All I did was wash it. Oh, we have Oxford heated grips and the adjustable mirrors. So yeah, let's go to work. The maps mentions something about a car fire on the way to work, so the traffic's kind of messed up. But what's new in California, right? Woo, got hot there in the sun. It's supposed to be almost 100 today, I believe. Yeah, this definitely is a little more spunky than the Himalayan. The Himalayan's a tractor. This guy wants a zip and get. Like it. Then again, you've got almost, let's see, 20, 40, almost 50 less pounds of bike here. This is 50 pounds lighter than a Himalayan, and it has 40 horsepower. So 50 less pounds and not quite double the horsepower. Of course it's going to be more spunky. The question is, which one's more fun to ride? Well, in their own way, each one, you know, is a blast, right? Depends on what you're looking for that day, I guess, but I don't know that one is more fun than the other to ride. They are, they're both just great little motorcycles. Which one do I prefer? My R1250 GS. Actually, it doesn't matter to me. They're, like I said, they're equally cool in their own right. This bike is far superior on the highway, so if I was having to go that way, I would definitely pick this over the Himalayan. This guy will zip along at 80 miles an hour all day long and not even bat an eye. It might bat a check engine light, but yeah, so highway bike, this one wins hands down. Off-road, it's about a tie. This bike is surprisingly good off-road. But lazy backcountry roads with, you know, top speeds of 55 miles an hour, I think I'd almost rather be on the Himalayan, just because it's slight. I don't want to say it's smoother. I don't know. I like the vibe that the retro single gives off, right? Thumping along. I will say the Himalayan is probably the smoothest riding single cylinder bike I've ever ridden. It's actually quite amazing. Well, that license plate's got a lot of sixes going there. So, another modification I forgot to mention, talking about the bike back at the turnout. I I put a Barnett clutch in this, so heavy duty friction plates and heavy duty springs. I didn't like how vague the factory clutch was in this bike. It's one of the things I've never liked, and I really like this Barnett the way it feels now. It's not really that much harder as far as lever pull, so nothing to worry about there with your left wrist getting destroyed. It just feels better. It has more feedback. It feels like a clutch now. So yeah, that's working out. This old car. What is that? What an old, I don't even know. The paint job is throwing me off. But this is an amazing motorcycle for a 300. Total home run by Kawasaki, whether you want to take it off-road or just use it as a street bike. You know, I think the original intention was for it to just be a street bike primarily, with, you know, dirt road, light gravel capabilities, but people have found that this thing does just amazingly well off-road. I have a video that I took it up the mountains here to my left on a single track that was very rutted, very deep. It's those of you that have tried to film off-road with a GoPro know how the GoPro basically makes everything look flat, right? It's a massive incline going up that hill, and the ruts were in some places, you know, 12 inches deep. I'm not even kidding. To the point where if I got in a rut, which I did, the pegs were touching the ground on both sides. So yeah, it was interesting. You know, not a place where a street bike should be, but it really did great. I mean, right on up the mountain. Of course, with only 5 or 6 inches of suspension travel to work with, yeah, it was kind of a rough ride, especially now that I had this one sprung a little tighter for my 200-pound butt. So you've got very little sag, and you know, you get to compress about 1.5 inches before it starts getting really stiff, which keeps me from bottoming out. I mean, that was the goal. The thicker oil in the front, you know, helps with the dampening of that spring stiffness. But yeah, I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. I have no regrets with the suspension changes I made. It's definitely, I changed this bike to be a candidate for the California BDR, and I think it's probably, for a lightweight adventure bike, I mean, not including my DRZ, this would be my go-to bike for that. It's that good off-road, not even kidding. Obviously, I built my DRZ 400 for the BDRs, but I would rather ride this on the freeway portion than any of the bikes that I have, not including the GS, of course. But I would rather ride this on the BDR than my GS, I think. And I'm just guessing at that because I haven't been on the BDR, but I've been on a lot of trails very similar to the worst parts of the BDR in Southern California, and a very heavy bike in sections 1 and 2 is going to be pretty burdensome. I'm telling you, it's bad news, man. Lots of sand, lots of soft stuff, unless you catch it on a time where it's been freshly graded. Maybe the wreck cleared up. It's staying only 1 hour and 17 now to work. Earlier it was saying 2 hours. I think there was a car fire that started a bigger fire, a chain reaction along my route. Stay away from me, plastic. Yeah, this bike is pretty nice. I like it. Excellent commuter bike, that's for sure. What do you get, like 65, 70 miles to the gallon? Buttery smooth. Can do 80 miles an hour. Just as happy at 50 miles an hour. Very, very comfortable ergonomics. Of course, that's a Versys thing. I used to have a Versys 650. It was probably one of the most comfortable bikes I ever rode up until I got an ST 1300. And then of course the GS 1250 is by far the most comfortable stock bike that I've ever owned. But this is a close second to that. Not ever since I put the seat concept seat on anyway. The factory seat on this guy, I don't want to say it's bad, but it's bad. At least for someone who's commuting to work and might be wearing jeans, and on a day where the temperatures are above 70 and you might sweat a little bit, get a little moisture in the pants, and yeah, it's bad. You'll get hot spots really quick. The monkey butt will kick in. You won't like it. The stock seat, I want to say I could make it to work and about halfway back before I wanted to get off the bike. So we're looking at what, 2 hours 30 minutes max sitting. So far the seat concept seat, I have no issues at all. Just sit on it and go. With the bar risers on this bike and IMS super stock foot pegs, this is a joy to stand up on too as far as riding off-road. I think the risers are 25 millimeter. I would have to look. Handlebars are stock. That's something I wanted to replace. I just haven't. I guess I'll wait till I bend them. Also, the turn signals on my bike seem to be okay, and it's been over on its side a few times. I don't know if the turn signals have ever touched the ground, and so I don't know if that problem's been fixed, or these turn signals are notorious for just breaking off for no reason. You know, you go off-road riding, and next thing you know, you get droopy signals. I've been told they make a pill for that, but if that ever happens on this bike, I'm going to put the same little tiny LEDs I put on my Himalayan. They're about this big. They're really bright. And this bike already has a digital flasher, so it's good to go. I won't mess with these Kawasaki signals. But several people said that problem has been rectified. And so it may not happen on this bike. I don't know. But if it does, we'll fix it. Kind of like that check engine light. I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, we'll fix it. I do have an O2 delete on this bike, so I'm wondering if maybe it failed and that's why I have a check engine. We'll have to, now that I have the factory header back on the bike, I should just plug the O2 sensor back in. Should have done that to begin with. Cool. As you can see, this poor little bike only has 2,200 miles on it. Literally nothing. It's had the brake-in oil change, and then I think I swapped it out with Rotella T4, which I believe is non-synthetic or semi-synthetic. So yeah, just one oil change on this poor guy. I think the front sprocket is 1 tooth larger, which really made no difference as far as acceleration and even riding off-road. I was surprised by that, but it did drop the RPM a little bit on the highway, so that's always a plus. A little less buzzy, but you know what, it's not really that buzzy. I guess it, you know, it's all perspective. What are you used to? I wish Kawasaki would let me design a bike for them. I would design something very similar to this with better suspension, and I might stick with the same tire and wheel size that are on this. You know, people always poo-pooing on 19-inch front wheels, but they're not bad with the right tires. They're fine for an adventure bike. I have no complaints about my GS front tire or this one off-road, but I would go with probably a fully adjustable upside down front fork, fully adjustable rear shock, probably an aluminum swing arm to save some weight. Maybe see what you can do to save some weight with the frame. The gas tank's fine. I think it has close to 5 gallons, that's plenty. But you know, maybe I would go to a 5.5 gallon tank. The one thing I would change is I'd put a 450cc parallel twin, but I'd do a 270 crank. You know, all parallel twins should be 270 cranks. It just gives them, you know, a lot more character and usable, I want to say a usable power range, but yeah, is it really? It just feels better. It feels like you're riding a V-twin when you have a 270 crank. It just has that tractor feeling down low, and when done right, they rev really nice. I'm always looking for 7th gear. Notice that? Anyway, let's shut up and ride.